Well, greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. I really appreciate it. Now, if you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link and to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Now, here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF, Smart Men Flying. And you must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunthangar, will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. Now, understand, sometimes even I can't get a word in myself because the conversation is going between members of our panel. So be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. By the way, when you go to Stunthangar Forum, I mean, anybody can go there, but you won't see the link I'm talking about, the link at the bench. That only show up for people who are members of the forum. I just want to make that clear. And also, you only can make the comments during a live stream or have your questions read. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, if you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos that Sparky does on his platform, informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up. That's a like. Subscribe, share the videos, and comments also help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships. You'll see the join button when you go to the YouTube site, and the membership start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day, and you're getting incredible value because Sparky has like 55 years plus experience, plus he has other friends. John Jordan has, I don't know how many years, but a bunch of them. And then Dan Winship's been joining him. So for that amount of money, I just think everybody should support the channel. Now you can also use the super chat, which is located at during the live stream. Again, that's below the chat box, and you can make any denomination you'd like. Of course, we really appreciate the big tippers, but that helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunthangar Forum and the Stunthangar YouTube. So, and with your memberships, you'll get special badges that we'll be able to see in the YouTube chat, and unlimited replay of member-only videos. I mean, these are videos of Al Raby. I mean, there's a lot of great videos from Al Raby. Al Raby passed away this year, I believe. And what a loss. He was a tremendous builder, semi-scale planes. So some great videos you can watch unlimited amount of times. And so please consider that. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. Okay, I'm in here just twice a week, Monday and Friday nights. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. All the letters are there, even if they're repeated, Flying Control Line Stunt. And place a comment or question on the 2019 AMA National Championship videos of me flying Sparky's plane called the Junar XL. And that was a kind of on my bucket list to go to the national championship. So I love the video. Hopefully you like it too. And if you do, comment there as well and like there as well. That'll help me too. And if you go to that video, the 2019 AMA National Championship video on my channel, and leave a comment or a question about the show or anything, pretty much, I will be able to respond to you much more quickly than if you leave a comment for me on Sparky's channel. I'm only here twice a week. I won't get any notifications of any comments and that kind of stuff. So anyways, I want to thank you for your past, your present, and your future support. You are making it happen. Please consider keeping the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't do around your children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to post a link. I'm going to turn my attention to another monitor to post the link, and the link is posted. And then I'm going into Sparky's YouTube channel. He's given me keys to the kingdom. So I can go in there and go to what I call the control panel. And let me go there now, and I can see what's going on so far. See who's coming in, see how many likes we have. Oh, by the way, when you subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell and select all notifications so that whether I come in or Sparky comes in, you'll be notified. So we're just about opening up the studio view, and here we go. All right, so it looks like, well, Alexander III, I have not seen you in a while. Hey, Alexander III says, greetings, Charles, and all viewing, greetings from Scotland. Yes, this is an international show, by the way. Yeah, and then Tom Rammel says, everyone hits the thumbs up. Hit the like button. Thank you very much, Tom. And so we have 6 concurrent viewers, 5 likes. So if you have not hit the like button, please hit that. That helps the channel's analytics. And let me see what's going on in this space that I'm at. Get rid of this screen here. All right, so no one's come in yet. I believe the link is posted in at the bench. Let me see here. At the bench. Yep, so look at the one that has today's date. Speaking of today's date, November 1st. The meeting will be, let's see what I do with that. Is this the 2021? So this is a new month, so we're going to say goodbye to the one of Sam and Mike Lonke. By the way, we have a member of our panel, Gary Sinclair, who makes his calendar up every year so far. And so we're going to have to start collecting some new pictures for a new calendar. Anyways, let me find that a little bit later. I'll come across it. I'm a little bit unorganized right now, so forgive me for that. But while I'm waiting for some of my friends to come in and hopefully new viewers, I haven't had a new viewer in some time. I think the last newest viewer was Mel Rogers. There might have been someone else, and then after that, or before that, was Walter Moore. Don't want to forget that. We've had some new ones, but it's slowing down. So please consider. I mean, if you're thinking, I mean, none of us. I mean, most of us in here have a face that's for radio. Okay, none of us have a TV personality type of face. You know, I'm just speaking for myself. Okay, so don't let that stop you. Come on in, and even if you don't know a whole lot, you're still welcome. Everyone's welcome. I would love to have the greats, the people at the top of the echelon. I don't know why they have not come in. I know some people are I don't know, some people aren't very social. It's amazing. I mean, I'm a very social person, so I always find it's odd when someone isn't as social as I am. That's because that's how I operate. But I understand that people that aren't social and don't like YouTube, and then some people, I mean, unfortunately, our hobby is an elderly type of community, and there's a lot of us who don't have the know-how to have a webcam and a microphone and get on YouTube and even log into the space we're in. It can seem a little bit overwhelming for some people. But don't let that stop you. I had a person who comes in now very comfortably. He came into Stunthangar forum. He PM'd me in the private messaging, and he explained to me what was going on. I tried to ascertain where he was at, he was having, the problem he was having. And you know what? Now he comes in with no problem. So, you know, I mean, if you're in this hobby, you've had to overcome challenges. I mean, oh my goodness, to be able to fly upside down, to be able to even build a kit, because you're going to have screw ups, you know, it just happens. And you got to overcome that. So just think of this as building a kit or learning to fly control line or RC. You don't have to be strictly control line. Hey, what's up, Tom? How you doing?
Hi, Charles. I'm doing well.
Good to see you. I thought about you today because I went to the flying field and it was cold. It was like 58 degrees.
Oh.
And I was thinking, man, Tom would want to slap me thinking that's cold. Right?
Right.
So
I think our high got up to 44 today.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured, you know, that, but it was cold. And my friend Joe Mata was with me, and he had his hands in his pants, and we both had shorts on, and we was thinking, boy, it's cold and it was damp, you know, because they'd watered the field, so there's still a lot of moisture in the air. So it was what I considered. I mean, it's cold for us. I think that's maybe our first cold morning, you know, going into the winter. So, but it warmed up to like 70 something degrees. It was a beautiful day. You know, I know you're going 7 degrees, 70, like vacation.
That's summertime for me.
Yeah. So I took out the SV11 today.
Oh.
And yeah, took it out today. I took it out yesterday too. I had no success yesterday. I tell you, you know who your friends are. Joe Mata, he hung out with me at least for 3 or 4 hours, and we did not get a flight in.
Oh,
unbelievable.
The electric one, you mean? You're talking about your electric?
Yeah. Electric. You know, the motor has to be working and spinning that prop to fly, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm learning. This is a new learning curve, but today got it going. And hey, Gary, how you doing?
Good.
Great. So I
Tom
went out today and I got the SV11 in the air. I just did a short 1-minute flight, flew upright to see if the wing was level. And according to Joe Mata, the wing was level, and then flew another time, a second time, and I went inverted. And then he said, perfect, which is neat because I actually could hear him from the center of the circle. You know, we could have had a conversation because it's relatively quiet, you know, pretty quiet compared to my IC motor. So, but then I was fooling around with the controls, the lead outs, I mean, on the ground. And I had a disconnection, the push rod connecting to the elevator horn got disconnected. I'm hoping to get to it this evening. So I'm gonna be doing a handoff to Steve again, so that I'll be here. I'll be in the garage again, or I'll be visible. I'll be listening to the show, and anything comes up, I'll be there to help. But this way I can continue to get things done. And
it's sure good that didn't happen in the air.
I know. You know, wow. I've been thanking the Creator, praising him, and thanking him. And I'm like, I know he loves me, because you're right, Tom. That could happen, and that would have been a pile of balsa wood. Because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen at the worst possible time, right?
Yeah, make sure you figure it out and make sure that can't happen again.
And I suspect, I have a suspicion. See, I have a push rod that's between the flap and the elevator, right? And I have 2 ball links. And when I put it together, I had checked it earlier, but it became obvious to me that the flap and the elevator weren't both at neutral. So I needed to lengthen the push rod length. So I unhooked the push rod at the flap horn, and so I had access to the ball link. Hopefully you guys are with me. And I was trying to twist the ball link to extend the length of the push rod, but maybe some CA or something got in that thread. That thing was locked up. And I mean, I had to put a vice grip on not the actual carbon fiber shaft, but the end, the titanium end, try to grab that so that I wouldn't translate that twisting back to the elevator horn. But I think even though I did my best to arrest the push rod, it must have torqued it and worked now the elevator is a slider elevator horn. It has a slot that allows the push rod to travel up and down. So I can, I guess, change the ratio. So I think, and it's only held on by a little kind of a rectangular nut. That part of it is machined so that it fits in that slot, but you shouldn't be able to pull it through. But with all that torquing I did, I could have easily have, I haven't seen it yet. Hopefully I'm gonna get in the garage this evening and continue to work on that. I'd like to go flying tomorrow and the next day as I leave Thursday for Las Vegas.
Is there enough threads on your little connectors? That's, are you right at the tip of the threads where they didn't come off?
Usually there's enough threads. I don't know what happened. I'm hoping to we're going to open it up and investigate. Hopefully I have access to there's some access hatches kind of that are covered up with, not hatches, but there's some access holes in the fuselage sides right below the elevator horn that I will be able to get to without actually having to cut wood, just remove the film. And I should be able to peer in there and maybe I can find that rectangular nut and hopefully I can fix this. I'm thankful, I'm grateful for the plane still being in one piece. So I imagine you want to show me this new TUT or another TUT, right?
This is the one I'm working on as far as programming the microcontroller. Can you see that LED? It's probably hard to see.
Yeah, I do see it. Yeah, I see it flashing. Yeah.
Raise it up a little bit.
I got that far.
Very good.
I got as far as programming it to get to the control of the LED. I still have some more work to do, but
yeah, progress.
This should be. I should have it. I need to get it figured out. I've been kind of working with Tim Westcott too, trying to
great
figure out why I can't get his program to work in here. But the rest of my microcontroller chips are supposed to be here tomorrow.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
That's like 3 months early because the date they gave me was like January 3rd.
Oh, that's fantastic, Tom. That's great.
So that'll be good. I can make a bunch of them.
Yes. Gary, did you have a question for Tom?
No, I just told him to raise it up a little bit.
Okay.
Oh,
when he was showing it there. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to change my background. If I hold it up too high, then it disappears.
Oh.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
I know these virtual backgrounds are kind of tricky. There's a few comments in the chat box. Let me catch up with that. Alexander III says, how's your SV11 getting along, Charles? Well, I don't know if you heard me, Alexander, but I'll repeat it. I actually finally got the plane out today, and I actually only did 2 flights. And these were really short 1-minute flights. So it was just to establish that the wings are level, both upright, and that the wings are level inverted. And so that's what I was able to do prior to discovering that the linkage was going to come off, and it would have came off in that next flight, and that would have been disastrous. My SV11 is in the, it's been in the air, had my maiden flight. And by the way, it does feel nice. The line tension was good. The lap time was 4.99 seconds. So it's a little bit fast, but I'm used to flying big, heavy planes fast so this plane's not big and heavy, but the speed did not concern me, but I will be able to slow it down. I think I'll be able to slow it down to 5.2 and I don't have any problem. Plus, with the electronics, I can always adjust the gain and make it so that it will, respond if I put the nose up. So I'm really excited about all of this. And then Marcel Legrand, he says, "Evening, Charles. The SV11 is looking great. Thank you very much. It's a nice looking airplane. I'm hoping to add some trim colors a little bit to it, a little bit purple. I'm going to add to it and make it just a little bit different than a stock one. I just can't help myself. I got to just touch it a little bit." And then old control line pilot. This is Robert Whitney up in Canada. He goes by the handle Old Control Line Pilot. He says, "By the way, did those removable canopy mods work for you?" Yes, they did. It worked excellent. Thank you so much, Robert. Well, you was the total inspiration behind that. I tell you, I would have done it a different way and would have been inferior to the way that you did it. So thank you so much, Robert Whitney. I might be able to show it when I get in the garage. So if you're tuned in, so stay tuned. I think yours, Robert, came out better, but mine, it's not bad. I think yours came out better. I love how you did I think you used micro balloons, and then you put you really kind of helped the wing saddle fit better. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I might do that, but everything was rush, and then hurry up after that. So everything was frantically done, and so it works, it's functioning, but it's not as nice as yours. Right now, I don't have the cockpit. I removed the cockpit, and I haven't replaced it yet. So yours is much nicer, and then we're all caught up. So looks like it's just us. So anyway, so tonight I'm gonna cut into the side underneath the stab and elevator. Peer in there. Hopefully we cover the nut, which is a rectangular nut, which is kind of machined in a way that part of it will fit in that slot to travel up and down on the elevator horn, and then put it back together. And like you said, Tom, make sure it doesn't happen again. Hey, Tryon.
Hey guys.
How you doing?
All right.
Great. I've been so busy, Tryon. I still haven't had time to find anything. I've been so busy, buddy.
That's no problem. Did you fly?
Yeah, I flew today. I only got 2 flights in before through moving the controls, the push rod connecting to the elevator got disconnected. And I'm so glad that this happened on the ground.
How in the world did you manage to do that?
Well, what I suspect was earlier last week, I was trying to lengthen the push rod between the flap horn and the elevator horn.
Okay.
And I just had the 2 ball links. I didn't have left and right hand thread, so I actually disconnected the ball link from the flap horn, and I was trying to twist the ball link there to lengthen the length, right, to get it so that both the elevator and the flap came to neutral at the same time.
Yeah.
But I had to grab so hard and I had to twist so hard, even harder, to break that glue or lock up. It was just locked up. So I think all that contorting and twisting, I mean, really hard. I'm not kidding. I was afraid I might break the plane if something slipped. I was using so much strength, and I think that twisted it out of that. I have a slider elevator horn with that rectangular nut that gets captured in that slot. It allows it to slide up and down. Are you familiar with that?
Oh yeah, because it has like a ring that goes on the ball. Is that the one that slipped out or what?
Yeah, that elevator horn has a slot, and it has a nut, which is kind of like
I know what you're talking about.
Right, and it fits in that slot. So I think with all that twisting and contorting at the flap horn, I inadvertently, compromised that connection there, is my guess. I'm going to open it up now that Steve's here, and once Steve gets set up, he's going to help me out so I can go back in the garage again, and I'll be working on the plane, but he'll keep an eye on the chat. And
oh no.
Uh-oh.
You sure you want to give Steve the
I have the power. So everybody who don't like me having the power, state it now so I know who to accidentally kick out later.
I like your AMA shirt there, Steve. That's pretty cool.
When I'm the host, I tend to dress up and not wear T-shirts that says stuff that people may not like or whatever.
Very nice. Very nice. So have you did you pop out the chat yet?
No, I have not.
Yeah, I'll wait.
I forgot. See, I already forgot.
At least Steve got a haircut before tonight.
No, I didn't. I just
No, remember last show?
oh, okay, yeah. I'm not real bright.
So I'm gonna hopefully I'm going to fix it. I'm planning on flying tomorrow, and tomorrow I'm going to lengthen the flight time and start to see how it turns. You know, I just did a half a loop to go inverted, and according to Joe Mata, it's the wings are level, and the lap time was a little bit fast, 4.99 seconds, but it didn't feel fast to me. I'm used to planes.
Slow it down. That plane can fly a 5.3 easy.
Yeah,
I believe it. I'm on that 64-foot lines.
Too short.
We have a loop. Someone has a tab open. And start to see how it turns. You know, I just did a half a loop. Is that you, Steve? Oh, that's you trying to get the pop out the chat. Just mute YouTube. There we go. Wings are level. You got to mute that. That time was a little fast, 4.99 seconds, but it didn't feel fast. You see the speaker on the YouTube side, Steve? Yeah, I believe it. I'm on that. I muted you, Steve. So, anyways, when you get ready, let me know. What'd you say, Tom?
I said, I think we've heard this before.
Yeah. And Edward Suter, hey, Ed, man, we haven't seen you in a while. He goes, hey, y'all, would join you, but I'm still tired from recovering from my COVID, but we'll be on Friday. Did you have a COVID shot, or did you actually get COVID itself, Eddie?
Oh, he's probably got the good stuff.
I'm sure Eddie will respond. But anyways, you saying that 64-foot lines is too short?
Yeah, way too short. I think we should be on 68s or so.
Really?
I mean, handle to the center of the plane. About
yeah,
67,
I just had 64-foot eyelet to eyelet. So that's
eyelet to eyelet plus another 2 feet is 66. Still kind of shortish, but oh well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I might get there, but right now I feel comfortable there. It's going to slow the plane down a little bit. I know if I lengthen it, then it would slow down the plane, but it's pretty good. Hey, John, how's it going? So I see you're showing your blue SV11. All right.
So it's about a foot a tenth or so.
Right, that's how I've heard. It's 1/10 of a second every foot. But just while I'm filling out the young girl, I'm going to keep it the way it is. I'm going to slow it down with just adjusting the RPM.
Yeah, and then, that's easy with electric.
Yeah. But I had a really difficult time yesterday. I actually called Steve earlier, so I need to work out my procedure. Because see, when the protocol that I've been familiar with, and again, I'm just brand new at this stuff. Electric, I'm brand new to. I've heard. So Ed said he did have the virus. Well, Eddie, I pray for a speedy recovery. And are you at home, Eddie? Anyways, okay. So what I was going to say is that in the protocol that I've heard is that at a contest, when you land the plane, the pilot has to hold the handle until who's ever going to tend to the airplane removes the arming plug, right? So I was thinking in my mind, if that's what you have to remove, then that'd be the last thing you would you'd put in when you start the operation. So, anyways, between that and turning the thing on and off, I just got that out of order. So I was having a hard time getting the plane to operate Sunday on Halloween. I was out there for hours because I either needed to disconnect the battery or something to get it reset to go again, but I didn't know what was happening. And the guy I was with, Joe Mata, we were both, first time for everything for both of us. So we was struggling. I never got a flight Sunday, and it was a shame because I was at a different location, which is like a soccer park, beautiful grass, beautiful temperature, beautiful day, and I didn't get one flight. I was there for over 3 hours. So today I had some success. You know, it was short-lived, just 2 1-minute bursts. But hey, I had my maiden flight and I got a chance to fly an electric plane. So that was awesome.
And your plane's still in one piece.
I know. I'm telling you.
You got away with it, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, I had one time that I had that happen to me one time in the flight.
I'm sorry.
I got away with just flying with the flaps and landing the plane.
Wow.
Whoa. Now that's no fun. I've experienced that before. That is no fun. Or even either the other way is no fun either. And having an elevator and no flaps is no fun either. I've flown it that way with the flaps were my flap upright horn broke on a top flight score. I remember overhearing you mentioning your score that you had Friday, because I was in the garage, but I didn't comment. But I had a top flight score also. And you're right, that plane needs a 60. I had a Super Tiger 51 in mine. And if you go to my YouTube channel, there's a couple of videos of me flying my top flight score.
I've seen that, I think, the other day.
Yeah, so that motor was a powerful motor, but the tank wasn't trimmed right. It ran faster inverted. And anyways, that was
that's the downfall of that plane. I mean, it's like whoever designed it, I think that they designed it for RC, and they didn't even think about control line at all.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at it, it's all RC kind of built in it. It's nothing control line. And even the landing gear is so weak, you know, it's like you have a little bit stiffer landing, you know, you're gonna snaps open and
yeah.
I mean,
just, you know, that plane served me well. I actually I believe I won intermediate at the Golden State Stunt Championship with that plane. So it served me well.
Okay.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Steve, you're back.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, when I had to fix that one of mine, because it has that split in it, it was kind of twisted kitty wampus.
I bet.
So I took a 440 and stacked, I think it was about 4 washers together, put on one side, 4 washers on the other side, then a nut. And I tightened it down, and that pushed everything back.
Okay, I follow you.
And then I loosened it just a little bit, and then I could squeeze it, move it up and down and kind of squeeze it.
Right.
You know, to get the width back again. And that's how but you know, that's just, you know, I don't know how yours is bent or whatever, but you know.
Yeah.
So Charles, what I usually do in my stuff, I don't really use Loctite on the control horns on the push rod. I just use the thread on the push rod ends, right, to go into the plastic, and it's just threaded quite a few times in there, and the pressure from there, it's enough to hold everything in place.
Right. Well, this, I don't know what happened to mine, but it was locked up. It was so hard. I had to put vice grips on those titanium ends to hold it, and I still had to. I mean, with great force, I was slowly unwinding the threads so I can lengthen the push rod. So I had discovered. I don't know if you caught what happened, John, but I discovered, and even Steve saw it in the garage. You can see that my elevator and my horn, my flap horn, weren't at neutral at the same time.
Did you use the ends from Oki?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they might have been.
Those are left-hand side and right-hand side, right?
Well, on this particular push rod, I don't have left and right. But on my other push rod, I do.
Why would you do that?
Well, you know, I thought I had it, and I didn't think. Now, this is just me, guys. I don't necessarily think that adjusting the push rod length between the flap and the elevator does anything really positive for you. I mean, if you do use that method to get the turn the same, by the time I get done getting it to turn the same, I usually have my tail lower or my tail higher, and the plane's flying through the air with a little bit of a pitch. And I hate that, especially when I do the 4-leaf clover, because when you come out of the first loop, you're either ascending or descending. Then coming out of the third loop, you're ascending. No,
it's kind of stressed, because what you do, you have, if you think about elevator neutral, if you fly with a little bit of a flaps down to give you more inside turn,
Okay.
that's what it does, right?
Yeah.
Then you also have some drag to it, right? But if they're aligned properly, then and for each 10 degrees you have up on the flaps, you have 10 degrees down on the elevator. Or anyways, it's symmetric, right? The flaps and the elevator movement is symmetric, right? If you have that, then the only cause for lack of symmetry in your flight is from the flaps to the bell crank.
Bingo. So I have a left and right hand turn on that push rod, so I can fix that.
Yeah.
Exactly. But when I was flying, all the people that were in my ear, when I was complaining about it, the not turning the same, they would have me adjust the push rod between the flap and the elevator. And I would do that.
Adjust the other one.
I agree. I'm just telling you what.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, I was just telling you what
Sometimes you don't have to listen to them.
I know. Well, you know what? I don't know if they were friends or not.
I mean, I'm sure, everybody has good intention or something like that, but sometimes it's the wrong advice.
I agree. I was just like, because I would get the asymmetry out, and then the plane was flying with a little bit of a pitch, and I could not stand it. So I figured it out, and I figured it out at the cost of my my Vector 40, because I actually removed the canopy to adjust the push rod between the flap horn and the bell crank. And I found that was giving me a better solution. I was excited. And I wanted some more. So I cut the canopy off a second time. But the second time I didn't glue it back on. I just taped it back on. And the mistake I made is that the top of the, above the wing is probably be about a quarter of an inch of fuselage, right? There was not enough structure to hold the plane. So when I did a square loop, I heard a pop. And I basically broke the saddle, and I got the plane to land safely, but I had broken the plane essentially. Went to my friend's house, and this is a couple days prior to the Golden State Stunt Championship. And we,
of course,
we were epoxying.
When do you think that happens?
Of course. So, but we were standing face to face. I was holding the fuselage or the wing, and he was holding the other component. And it was supposed to be a 15-minute epoxy. It didn't kick off for like 40 minutes. And we're like this close, going, so what's going on? It was really uncomfortable. And fortunately, he was taller than me, which most people are, by the way. And so, but when when it was all said and done, it wasn't straight, because it's uncomfortable for 40 minutes to hold a plane straight. So, and then I had a mishap when I was rolling out to take off with the Vector. It hit a clump of glass and turned in, and the plane crashed. But I did learn in that plane that the push at the bell crank to the flap horn is the optimal way to adjust asymmetry as far as turning. But it was very unfortunate.
You can adjust that out of it just even before you fly, Charles.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
you can bench trim. You want to bench trim, you get everything even, Steven, level, directly in line. Elevator, flap, everything lined up.
Well, that's what threw his elevator off, when he adjusted the flaps and got them moving exactly the same. Then he had to readjust the elevator to get all that exactly.
Well, you start off with the flaps. You get them, so many degrees of bell crank rotation equals so many degrees of up or down flap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would even go just even simpler than that. Move the cables back and forth like half an inch this way, half an inch the other way, and check the throw.
Yeah,
so that's what he did. Flaps, then you bring symmetric.
Yeah,
exactly.
You set one night, he did the thing with the tape, and moved the tape to one edge, and then measured it, went back edge to edge with the tape the other way, and he adjusted all that. But once he got all that adjusted, that threw that tail out just a little bit. And then he got the tail back. The tail wasn't out that far.
But it doesn't matter. Steve, think about it. He's got the connection between the flaps and the elevator.
I think I did not have the elevator and flaps set right in the first place. It was close. I thought it was perfect, but it wasn't. Then when I went ahead and did the tape trip to adjust the flap, when it was all said and done, I realized, oh, the matter of fact, Steve noticed it. He just didn't want to call me out, on the world stage, but he noticed it because he called me and I was telling him what I was doing. He goes, I thought I saw it. He could see that it wasn't right, but all that's right now, and the plane flies good. So now I gotta just fix this connection. That's why Steve's going to take over. I'm going to go down in the garage. I'll be around, so if there's any problems, I'll be able to help and assist Steve. But Steve's going to.
Before you go.
Before I go. Oh, by the way, we did try to catch up with each other, didn't we, John?
Yeah. Oh, come on.
No, don't drop anything.
Everything's
Throw it all
falling.
over the floor.
Yeah. Well, my junk pile here keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Let me make you big. I'm sure you're going to show us something. Hang on a second.
My first thing is I probably should have gone electric, because going with a IC on this, there's so much more work you got to do.
Are you sure about that? I thought there was a lot of work to do on my electric. Ooh, that looks good.
All that has to be lined up,
Cut out.
engine mounted properly, inside a crutch having to be built between the motor mounts, fuel proofing inside of there. All that has to be done, which you don't have to do with electric. And
I
then
always use a little electronic spray to fuel proof my model.
Well, I've got this on here. The engine is just about 3/16 of an inch too long.
Right.
So, and I also put in a degree of down thrust. So I've got a spacer in there that I've got in there to get it to have a 16th inch opening between there. But all of that has to be done as well.
Right.
I would say it's a little tougher, a little more demanding to build an IC version than the electric version, because of the extra steps you have to go through.
Well, if you like me, in my case, this is my first electric plane. So I went out to the field yesterday and didn't get a flight in. If I would have taken my IC plane out that I had just built, I would have gotten some flights in yesterday.
Yeah, but we're looking at, oh, come on. I changed to a corrected flap board.
I see you changed that. Yeah, I did the same thing.
But I had to take off. I got this one side measured wrong, and I've got to add 1/4 of an inch onto the end of this flap.
Okay.
That was my bad. I was going to make the wing removable and stab removable. Ain't going to happen. I just don't have the time.
No, I understand that too.
But
it's coming along.
It's at the point where I can now join the wing to the fuselage and get ready to finish that up.
Very good. Yeah, I'm glad mine's together. At least mine's in one piece. I'm glad about that.
Can you believe Lonky did his whole airplane in about 20 hours?
Yeah, I can believe it.
Start to finish. He started on a Friday night and he had it done Sunday.
My problem is right here.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
I spent most of my time picking things up that I dropped, because I have very little feeling in my hands. And I think I've got a nut or a screw or something, and I'll go to put it on and it's not there. So,
oh my goodness.
Well, hell, John, if you'd get the damn vaccine that magnetizes you, you wouldn't have to worry about dropping the little thing.
They've got a magnetizing vaccine now.
Yeah, remember, you didn't hear about that? The COVID-19 magnetizes you. So if you get that, you can just pick up no problem.
You guys, we really can't talk much about COVID-19. I know that Sparky has warned us before, so Sparky's the boss, so it affects the channel for some reason.
I'm not going to talk about it. Just suffice it to say,
But I'm, I'm looking forward to getting my booster shot. So I'm not saying it's good or bad, just a personal decision. Anyways, Steve, so you ready, Steve?
I'm ready.
All right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn over the control to Steve, and I'm going to rejoin you down in the garage. So when I come back in, Steve, of course, it's going to give me the power back. So just be prepared that you won't be the host momentarily again when I come back in.
Okay.
So let me fix this here.
He's just letting you know who really has the power, Steve.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here, Steve. So we're gonna make Steve host, and it goes, "Are you sure that you want to make this change to Steve Hines?" Yes. There you go, Steve.
Well, just remember, I can shut the whole thing down before you ever get back.
Yeah, that's why it's saying, "Are you sure you want to hand it over to Steve?" So I'll be back. I'm gonna join. Hey, Carl. Thanks for
Hey,
coming
Carl.
in. I see you're in here twice, Carl. I mean, for some reason.
And the answer is not really, right?
Hey, I appreciate Steve. Thanks very much. You're freeing me up so that I can work on the plane. And
Yeah, hey, Charles, when you see what's wrong with it, get back on and let us know. Let us know what happened.
All right, sure. All right, you guys. I'll see you shortly. I'll be back in a minute.
All right. Hey, Tryon. Is your stuff ready to come out of the molds?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, actually, it didn't go in the molds. I'm still working on. I'm setting up some stuff, making some parts.
I thought you had the fuselage.
Yeah, but
you
Halloween happened, and then some family time happened, and
okay.
My days were out the window. But
Yeah, I was just gonna say, well, if you did, I wanted to wait until more people got in, and
yeah, you see, so I have these guys are ready to go.
I see. You got the halves done. You just got to get the parts to.
Yeah, I have to join them. Yes.
Get to join it. Okay.
Yeah, the halves are done. All of them are done. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was trying to do it tonight, but it's so cold in here. I said, screw it. No.
Yeah, I was just gonna wait till we got more people on, but since it isn't done, then we don't have to wait. We'll just wait till Friday, or you'll probably have them apart before that. But
no, I can wait till Friday. It's no big deal. I mean, I'm not in a rush to take it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the molds are done. So what I've done on the last parts that I've made, I didn't make like a finalized version of them because I didn't have the chance to do it. But if I am to remake these ribs in here, they're gonna have the correct cutout here in the corner, so I can put my L-shape brackets and just glue them right in there.
Oh, okay.
And if they're precisely made and right to size, all I have to just make them and just stuff them in there, and I'm done. Pretty simple operation. But right now, because of that, I have to just put some sacrilege here, some pieces of balsa in there. So they're going to create these 90-degree corners.
I see. Okay.
Oh, so it's not all composite. Okay.
As I said, the sacrilege. Okay. Yeah, but if I had the proper piece, then I would have the correct corners in here. All of this would be missing. This rib would just probably go straight around here.
Oh, okay.
And just cut this whole piece out. Just leave an L shape here, an L shape to the bottom and here, and everything else can go.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just not doing anything. But yeah.
That's for another time, huh? When you get
if I'll ever get access to a machine and have some access to Mastercam, I can just redo those. I can just definitely redo those parts.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, I mean, I still have some parts, but I really wish I had the correct shape and See, I have parts here.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. You got to use them up.
Yeah.
Too damn expensive. Too much work went in them not to use them.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal. Yep.
Yeah. So this is one of the parts, right? This is the fuselage. So obviously, if I had the corners in the right position here, so I have a corner here, one here, and obviously I'm going to have them on the bottom as well. And probably this whole section will be filled in with maybe some holes in it to just, or maybe just an L shape and go down. Just leave like a shape in here, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But this stuff here doesn't have to stay there. Maybe make the wall a little bit thicker here.
Yeah.
Just to give it some more strength, which I don't think it really needs it. I mean, right now it's not doing anything. Right now it's just floating in the air. And obviously this is where the pins go when the two halves go together, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we will be a simplify version of this, and which would eliminate a lot of headaches and stuff like that, because this like that, it's just super easy. Just put the L-shaped channels, put them in there, slide them outside and all the way to the bottom, and do the same thing on the top, all the way to the top, all the way to the outside, and glue them in place, right? And on both ends, and I'll have the rails that are perfectly sized, and just the battery is going to go in there. Done. I mean, just simple. It's always good to simplify things and make them a little bit better. But like I said, you know, these parts are also built with a theory that I had no clue what kind of setup I had with the battery, what battery I would end up using, and also also the position of the battery. I said, I want a battery here, higher, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And because none of that was set in stone, I had to open the door for myself to be able to do that, you know, to play with it. So that's why I have screws that go like this with the brackets that would actually, if you want to see it, this is what was going to hold the L-shaped brackets in place, right? And the holes, you see there are a variety of holes in there.
Yeah.
They were made so I can move them up and down and just bolt them in a new position.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of the method to my madness. Or maybe I wanted to use a 4S battery. I didn't know what battery I'm going to use. I didn't know what, it turned out eventually that whatever I started with from the get-go was the right thing to do.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I was super lucky on that one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. The only thing that ever changed with my battery was just one thing. The original parts were this one's here. Where is it? Yeah, this one here. This was the original one, right? And the problem with this is that
you're gonna use the thinner, longer ones.
Yeah, so these are the original ones, right?
Yeah.
And what the problem with that is that, you work for the first time when I went offline, but then I figure out that I want to get my I want to move my batteries back and forth, right?
Yeah.
And that's what this is, the next generation one that right now I have. See, the battery is going to go through, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I'm using now. That, like I said, the only thing that changed from the original design is that I want to push my battery much further forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all. All right, I'll shut up. I talk too much.
Carl, you want to test out your microphone?
Well, yeah, I can. How's it coming over?
Great.
Pretty damn good. I mean, pretty good.
Okay, better than last Friday or about the same?
It's no comparison.
A lot better.
Yeah, great.
No comparison. I mean, tonight's better.
Yes.
A whole lot better.
Oh,
Okay, good. All right, cool.
you're still breaking down a little bit, but not as much as before, because before we could hear you like,
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I mean, I had to figure it out. I was like, what the heck did he say?
Yeah. We
there you go
figured
again.
out that the microphone is what?
You're breaking
just-
down again.
We just
What kind of
set
connection
ideas
you have
up.
there?
Okay, am I coming through now?
Yeah, you're just not used to trying to get a word in edgewise with us.
Oh, well, I found it.
It quit. It quit
Now we
working.
can't
So
hear
I
you
don't
at
know.
all.
As soon as
Soon as
Charles got
you
on, everything quit.
You're back. You're host again, Steve.
Oh, okay. Try
Give
to
it up,
talk
Steve.
again, Carl.
Well, for some reason, my laptop freezes up, and I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason why I'm not talking.
I really believe you need a new router, because I had that same thing happen to me when we first got on here a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but I replaced the router about 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Then that ain't it.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you got an updated router. Mine was the router.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get the cable company or whoever you got internet from to come over and check the strength of your bandwidth.
Yeah, make sure you get what you pay for.
Yeah. Because I had to do that too. Because at like 7 o'clock every night, I couldn't get on. I'd freeze up everything. Then about midnight, when everybody got off, I hit the internet again.
Yeah.
And so I called them, and they finally found the problem. What it was some connector way down from me that fed to my house was bad. And they cut it off and put a new one on, and
That's
I was
all good,
gone.
huh? Wow. Did that affect your TV at all when you're watching TV programs at all, or just?
It never did. It only affected my my internet. And I asked the guy about it, and he said, well, they work on different frequencies.
Okay.
And it had something to do with that thing getting corroded. It just wasn't letting the right frequency through or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just
like an old corroded battery cable won't let all the juice go through.
yeah.
Right. It's that. So I come on late. And did Charles fly his SV that next day after Friday or Saturday?
He flew it today.
Oh, good. Good.
He tried to fly yesterday, but he had some problems with the arming switch and how to turn the switch on and you have to play the music, and he was going back and forth with that and didn't trust what was going on. So he didn't fly yesterday, but he said he had a beautiful day and he wished, but today he got to fly, but then his elevator push rod came off.
Oh no.
It did it when he was testing it on the ground. He felt
Thank
something
goodness.
in the air, grabbed the lead outs, and bang, it would have been one more up or one more down or something. That thing would have.
Oh,
What it was, he disconnected the lines, and he kept feeling a drag in the up part of the elevator, and so he was gently running the leads back and forth, and I was watching the hinges and whatnot, and how the elevator was running, and all of a sudden it just came unglued or disconnected. So
wow. like the push rod. Like
The gods were looking out for Charles today.
Oh,
yeah, that's that. Yeah, thank goodness it did happen on the ground.
yeah.
Yeah,
Did it
he
just
got
come
one.
out of the push rod? Just came out.
Well,
Like
he's looking right now. No, we think it came
Oh.
out of the slider deal where he's cutting into it now, and he's gonna let us know here in a little bit what happened. But I'm kind of hosting, so he
Sure,
can
man.
work at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, when he was trying to figure out how to get the motor to kick off and rev up, when the wheels, when the, you know, when the makes those beeps, then it makes a little longer beep, then it makes a little bit longer beep. It sounds like a road rider coming through town with a musical horn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it counts the batteries. It usually counts the batteries and then gives you a long beep.
Right. Like a beep beep. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll count them and then
Right.
and that checks the timer or whatever you got hooked to it. And then once you flip the switch or have the switch made, then it should go spin up just for a second and stop.
Right.
And
That sets your time.
That sets your time
Start
for
your
your
time.
delay.
Yeah.
And then run to the handle.
Well, there was a couple of times where he thought he had it dialed in. He would run to the handle and he would grab the handle. So I was timing him, and I go, 1 minute. And so he had to make sure that Joe was holding the plane, and he had to walk back.
Oh, look at that!
Figure out what was wrong with
I
it.
pinned Charles.
And then the times he did.
It looks like the whole damn thing fell off.
Oh, I can't see it. He's just small on my end.
Oh, I tried to.
Let me see if I can pin him on my end. It's a little blurry. Hold it a little bit further away from the camera. Oh. Oh, wow. I'll be dang. Yeah, it looks like just the whole bolt come out, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to figure out how to make him big, but
I'll be darned. Wow. Well, if it was going to happen, Charles, thank goodness it happened on the ground, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we had one that crashed today, so they didn't need another one.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, man.
Our other part of the play was Joe. He was flying a real nice green mask that he put together. And so he fired the motor up, motor ran good, and he went back to the handle and he gave me the signal to let go, and I let go and I took off. Then I had my back turned towards the circle because I was trying to down the flying circle, and right when I turned it around, I saw the plane nosedive right on the ground, and it just did some damage. But it didn't break the leading edge or the trailing edge. It didn't break any ribs or the front of the motor with the front of the fuselage with the motor broke up. It's just the horizontal, the vertical rudder just broke off the fuselage. So it's an easy repair compared to what it could have been.
hey, Charles, did the pin come out or did the whole screw come out of there?
The screw is still, it's like 3/4 of the way. It's all the way through the ball link, just sticking out the ball link, but not in the horn.
Control horn. Wow.
How about that brass piece?
Oh, I gotta find that. And I wish it was steel.
Oh.
I can use a magnet, so I'm gonna have to.
Start shaking.
Yeah, that's right.
I understand that.
So you mean the whole bolt just threaded right out of there, huh? Right out of that brass piece.
Yes, the brass piece is loose, mean, you're talking about that rectangular nut that fits
Yeah,
in the slot?
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where that, I heard it earlier moving around. So I'm gonna secure that bolt with a nut temporarily and then shake that brass piece and hopefully find it. It's like trick or treat.
Yeah, if you can't find it, you could probably all the way in the back, right behind the tail wheel, you could probably cut just a little bitty hole and shake it so it comes to the bottom.
That's an idea.
I mean,
Now, Charles, do you have a washer between the ball and the
control.
horn?
The nut.
I have a ball next. I mean, I have a washer next to the head of the screw, but there's not a washer between the horn.
Okay, you gotta have a washer in between that ball and the horn.
Yeah,
That way the ball can't. What?
There could have been a washer there, but it's not there now.
Oh, okay.
Or there could not have been a washer there. I just can't tell right now.
Either way, it's not there.
That's right, Mark.
Well, good. At least you don't have to fix any bends or anything like that, Charles.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
At least on the Vector, what I did there was I took a longer shoulder, like 440, got a longer shoulder and cut it down and stacked it up so that I got about 3 or 4 or 5 threads through the lock nut, and had to cut it down. And it took a while to get the right length, but as you know, there's just not a lot of room back there.
Yeah. Especially in the Vector.
I'm sure the SV might have more, but
Right.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to my picture.
It just says shine.
You're done.
I hit the camera down in the lower left corner.
Oh, yep.
Ah!
I didn't know how I hit that. I was trying to pin you. It was pinning you for me, but it wouldn't pin for everybody.
Right.
No problem. That's why I'm here.
So what do we got? Hey, I see some tape on there.
I did this for the cheek cowl. I'm taping it on at the moment, and I'm gonna mock everything up again and see how the weight's coming, because there's still a lot of forward weight. I ended up putting some carbon on the underneath the doubler. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I run the doubler, like you guys suggested, all the way back to the back side of the wing.
Oh, okay.
That should be good.
Yeah, if that makes sense, And then, like I say, my 1/2-inch stuff for the cheek cowl, it was like 6x6s. That's the heaviest and toughest stuff I got. So it's really stiffened up, But I'll shape that, and go from there. But I think that I could even tell the difference in grabbing the tail, and twisting, once that doubler went all the way back, and on the bottom, it really stiffened it up. Yeah.
Yep. A solid rigid nose is going to give you a good motor run.
Yeah,
Did you
exactly.
shorten that nose, or did you move the wing forward?
I shortened the nose and moved the wing forward a little bit. 1/4 inch forward on the wing and 1.5 inches back on the nose.
You might have been consider, if you build another one, moving the wing forward about 1.5 inches, gives you a longer tail too.
Yeah, I read that, or maybe you mentioned that at one of the nights we were talking. And hindsight, I do have another kit actually. Yeah, that one I'll probably do electric, but that longer tail moment, when I was reading some posts on Stunthangar, and that was the other big suggestion was, leaving the nose, bringing the wing forward, increasing the tail moment, and increasing the area on the elevator and stab.
That's what I was going to say. Add, take the stab an elevator.
Is that on the Banshee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did all that on Samantha's, and she says that's the worst flying plane we ever built.
Well, you know, you're starting off with the Banshee.
Right. I mean, yeah. For me, this is just an interim thing, you know, and you know, I love building, and you know, you know, originally I was going to do a dope finish, and I said, come on, Mark, you know, just monocoat it, because you know it may not have a long lifespan, you know. So instead of taking the time, you know, once I'm getting through the patterns, you know, I'll start flying the vector again, you know, and you know, for a classic or something, I'll do a nice, or you know, old time, I'll do a nice dope finish on something. Yeah.
The
I
thing
think
with
the way you did it, if it balances, you're going to love the airplane.
Yeah, the thing with these changes on a Banshee is kind of fantasizing a Banshee.
Exactly.
There was my opinion on getting a nice finish on a plane or something like that. I don't think it's worth it until you go to the Nats, you know, open class.
Right.
And before that, you just need handle time and getting up in the air quickly and fly them. Unless you really, really want to have the experience of it.
Sure.
But I said, before you get the experience of it, just get the experience of crashing a few planes and finishing the pattern.
Exactly, because you know, spend hours and hours on a nice finish, you know, and you know, make a balsam mushroom cloud out of it, and
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, I don't say it's no to it. I mean, it's a nice stuff to do, but but until you get, I really don't see it beneficial. I mean, most of the local contests don't even have appearance points, especially here down south. I mean, East Coast.
It's a real personal thing, I think, with a lot of people.
Exactly.
And I really like, you look at a nice finished airplane, it's just wonderful, you know, and you know, it's like sooner or later, I think, like I say, when I build a classic or something like that, you know, for Nostalgia 30 or whatever, you know, I need to get a list together, you know, because the lineup now, I've got the Hellcat that I'm building, and of course Dave's going to help me with that covering job, but that's a next year airplane for sure. Yeah. That I can do profile and Warbird. Yeah. Then if I figure out a good classic, you know, or Nostalgia 30, yeah, and I'll have the vector for, you know, that the other entries. So that may be a little much, but
that profile that Peter was building, I can't remember the name of it, but it's Saginaw 3. That's a Nostalgia Legal airplane.
Oh wow. Hey, by the way, has anybody heard from Peter? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard from him either. I was wondering about it.
I messaged him Friday, and because I had some questions about this monocoating and stuff, and he said he was going to get on, but then he never got on Friday. So
yeah, probably not high on his priority list right now.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I think unlike me, I've been married so darn many times and divorced. Just because I live in Utah, I had to put that in there, you know.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's a given out there, right?
Yeah, right. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that this was the love of his life for his whole life.
I think that's probably true. Yeah, it's just tragic. It's horrible. Yeah.
Well, it's very hard.
Yeah, I'll say one thing with all the builds and stuff. I mean, my monocoating skills are getting good.
Yeah.
I was real happy.
I'm seeing improvement in each one of them you do.
Yeah, I was really happy with the wingtip and the turnout of the lead outs.
Oh, that's a nice job.
Yeah, that came out good.
Yeah, Mark, do you get any better at that? I'm going to bring my airplanes over and have you do them.
Bring it up. Bring it over. Yeah. You know, it's one thing that made a difference, especially in the wingtips. Yeah. Was, you know, when you get about 4 inches from this is just, I kind of got this from Sparky also in one of his videos. When you get about 4 inches from the end, take your iron, take it in the other room, get your heat gun.
Yep.
You know,
Pre-shape it. Pre-shape it.
exactly. You know, and get a little hot up top and start from the top and just start stretching around and wow, just what a difference. Because the first one I did, you know, I ironed enough wrinkles in that thing. It looked like, you know, yeah.
Grandma Moses, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. It's good. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's enjoyable seeing you as you progress along, Mark.
Well,
plus the fact you are a full-size pilot, and so once in a while, you know, but it's fun seeing you learning stuff with the models. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hey, John, just because I'm short, I'm still a full-size pilot.
Are you sure? I didn't.
You guys want to see this?
See
Yeah.
what?
How the mold comes together?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
That
obviously I
mold-
have the 2 halves, right?
Right.
And these are the cylinders that will receive the lock mechanisms.
Right.
And this is the end cap with everything on it. It just goes like this. Plop. And then from here, I'm gonna have these cups which I'm gonna fill them up with resin, and they're gonna go inside. I'm not sure if you can see that. But just they go inside like this here, and they're gonna cover these inserts and kind of tie them into the I don't know. You see the spot over there?
Yeah.
That's where they go. They're gonna fill in that area, go around the cups on top, and tie into the exterior of the skin. All right.
Wow.
And obviously this guy, has registration pins over there.
Right.
All of these pieces, I'm not sure if you can see them, but they have 6 dowel pins. See, 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, and 5, 6.
Yeah.
All right. So when I put this inside, the pins are aligned. This is registered perfectly in a center line. It's not up or down or this way or that way. It just goes in. So when I release the part, this pulls out and it leaves this end piece attached to the nose, and everything it's attached. And
Wow.
and then this is the nose ring, which obviously gonna go in there, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And for this, I have a special fixture for this to give me exactly 3 degrees and 090 in the other. I mean, no, is going to be in this direction is going to be 3 degrees, but in this plane is going to be perfectly straight up and down.
Oh, so you got 3 degrees of out thrust?
Yes.
Okay.
But no down thrust.
No, not right now. I never need it, but if I have to, I can always add a couple of washers in there. The plane was flying beautiful last time around, so I think I'm going to get it back in that same tree. This guy. And
I actually.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I was John. I accidentally, you know, setting everything up 0, 0, 0, and you know, checking the thrust line, all that kind of stuff. And when I drilled my motor mounts, yeah, it was maybe a half a degree, maybe, yeah, nose down. So I went, okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good.
Better down thrust than up thrust. You don't want any up thrust.
I just said, well, I meant to do that.
Unless you run in reverse prop.
Right now, yeah.
So this is actually the piece that goes in the nose. And the way this thing works is something like this. I take this out. This is a nose ring that goes right in there.
I love that substantial click, you know, when it drops into place.
So
Does it? Everything's locked in and pinned.
And this washer goes from the back side like this. And I have a screw on the front like this. And this is held as an assembly. Kind of like a one piece. And what I do, I just finger tie this. That's all I need. Just like that.
And then that's your end
So this
cap.
holds the nose ring in place. And this is just dropping like that. Boom.
Cool. How sweet. I mean, sweet.
So
and then the mold goes together over that, and it's bonded when it's in the mold.
Yeah, and when this is done, what I do, I I remove this nut, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. Then
and then just imagine this guy is bonded in there, right? So I just take the nut out, and this guy goes. Out it goes.
And you're there.
And then this is being left behind with a proper orientation, everything.
Right, and it's beveled toward the front, small in the front. So
yeah, it's also flush to the front. I mean, this does a lot of things, you know.
Yeah.
This does a lot of things. It holds it flush to the front. It centers it, aligns the 3 degrees up and down, all of the stuff. So I don't have to guess at it.
Right.
Where is it at? So that was kind of a nice addition to it. So this is where I'm at right now. As you can see, the cup is already glued in position right here.
Okay.
Even for the cup, I have a fixture.
Well, yeah, it's alignment is alignment. Yeah.
Yeah, because everything it's so this is the original piece that actually assembles this in place, but it's actually also a fixture to do the cup. So if I take this out, so watch this.
Are you using toe in that?
So there you go. So this is my fixture here, right? So what I do, I take this piece here, which goes on a dowel pin that is gonna create the where my insert is gonna go, and this goes on top of it like this.
I see now.
See that? And all I'm doing, I'm taking a cup, grab one from here, from my bag of, there is one. Just give me a second here. There are parts everywhere. All right. So this cup is going inside like this. So when I drop it into the mold, obviously I have these 2 pins that position it so it doesn't go back and forth, it's perfectly aligned. And I take this cup, and actually what I do with it is I just kind of push it down when I glue it.
Okay, and that's bonded in.
And I've just bonded here.
Gotcha.
Okay. This is just to hold it in position.
I was fixing to say, yeah, it's
The finalized position is just to stay there, nothing else, right? Because after that, what happens is see the cup is here. This guy is going to be filled in with micro balloons and epoxy. And it's going to go right on top of it.
That answered my question, what I was thinking of, how it's finally bonded in, but I get that now.
See that?
Yeah.
And this the cup is going to be surrounded by the epoxy and this carbon fiber hat, you know, for lack of a better explanation.
Right.
So this carbon fiber hat is going to act as a you know, transfer, just holding the epoxy inside the micro balloons. It ties into the outer skin, which is carbon fiber too. So
Cool.
that's kind of the way this thing works. And this is the only panel I have inside of it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put some micro balloons with epoxy right here in the channel and take this guy and just drop it in, boom, like that.
Okay.
And the epoxy should be enough for that. So this is the first thing I do. I just put this inside and I take my nose and I put it in place, which is obviously fixture and stuff like that. And then I close the two halves, boom. The back plate comes inside like this, right? And then I can reach inside through these holes, through all these access holes, and I can put some strips of carbon fiber to bridge the two halves and kind of hold them in place. And the rest is being held with micro balloons and epoxy all the way on this edge. That's kind of the way it works.
How many layers is in the sidewall, for lack of words? Yeah.
Layers of what?
Of the carbon, like for your whole nose
I
cavity.
just have 2 layers of 200 grams and an outer layer.
Right.
The 200 gram is too porous and too thick, and you don't want to use it to fill in gaps and stuff like that with it, because
Gotcha.
when you start to add all that resin in there to fill in the gaps and stuff like that, it just gets heavy. And actually I'm kind of cheating because I'm putting the outer layer first and I leave it a little bit wet. But when it comes to the 200 gram carbon, I wet it separate and put paper towels and really suck the epoxy out of it. And that's relatively dry layer, right? So then I put it inside exactly in position where I'm gonna need it. And after that, I put in a vacuum bag and that's it. Kind of.
You don't put no foam? There's no foam in that one like you do in the wing?
There is foam in it.
Oh, there is foam? Okay.
Yeah.
On
So
the side.
the outer level carbon, the 200, and then some of that foam, and then it's all sandwiched together.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, the foam only goes in a certain place. It doesn't.
Yeah. It's not everywhere.
Oh, okay.
I use primarily the foam on the flat surfaces. Like when I have a flat surface that goes like this, you know, kind of like your fuselage size that you build in most planes. Wherever it's a flat surface, I do that because, like here's a good example, right? Here is nice and rigid, wherever it's compound surface, and here on the bottom. But if you go here in the flats, it's kind of squishy. See that?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the first lesson I learned from when I made my first fuselage. So I kind of came to realize that this flat surface is here. I'm not sure if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
Is that too much light or?
A little glare, but.
Well, you see this, that it has this flat surface here?
Yeah.
And if I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See that?
It oil cans a little bit.
It's a little squishy, but it's not bad, you know. And actually, this is one of my first fuselage. You can see the original parts.
Right.
But
Was that
this,
that-
by the way, this one I can put it on any of my noses, on any of the planes, and it's going to be fine. It's going to fit and work.
Was that the nose that I had?
I'm not sure. So too much light probably, but you can see here. Can you see the hard points?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how they work. They have that cup on top of them and the stuff, and obviously this is, yeah, the holes go through here. That's that, and obviously the nose ring and whatever.
Right. That's a lot of air to come in. That's good.
Oh yeah, I'm not hurting for coolant. I think even if I didn't have this air coming through, I'll
Right.
still be fine, simply because the motor is so big.
That, and there's just a lot of volume there too. So
Yeah, yeah. Just like I have said this many times that that a bigger motor doesn't mean a heavier setup. Almost never. It never does. Because
right.
what you do with a bigger motor, you're going to save the weight and more so on a downline. And because you have a smaller ESC and a lighter battery, you break even with the other setup, but you don't break even on a pocket size, because a smaller ESC is a lot less expensive than a big one. And not to mention the batteries. How many batteries do you have? So,
Exactly.
so the more batteries you sport over there, you know, it's just like it's going to get much cheaper overall. If you go from 2200 milliamp 6S to a 2800 milliamp 6S, it's a significant chunk of change over there. If you have 4 or 5 batteries, you're over $100 over right there. So
Easily.
and you know, the system runs cooler too, in addition to that.
Right.
So, but you know, who am I? I'm not a world champion, so nobody's gonna ever listen to this. No, it's true, man.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless Igor Berger takes it on and does this, nobody else is gonna follow it.
You never know, man.
It's real.
Yeah. When you at Worlds this year, I think you have a good opportunity when you go to Worlds for the Romanian team to get that your system and stuff out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is you can see this is on the fuselage side. It's slightly different.
Right.
See that? Now, what these guys are actually inserted pieces that have they are drilled and tapped inside. And these are actually the pieces through which I put my anchors inside. And those anchors are going to go through the nose to the other side and be locked in. That's kind of the way this thing works. And yeah, if you look at the weight of this anchor plus everything else I have for one set, it's about 4 grams.
Yeah. Wow.
So my nose take apart takes 8 grams worth of hardware. Yeah, it's not much, you know. On the wing, you can say it's a little bit more, because in a wing I have those
the crossover bar and all the hardware.
Yeah, the bar, yeah. But now even that bar, you know, if you have like a tube and you just tap the ends of the tube and drill it, you know, for the anchors to screw in there, they'll be relatively light. It's much lighter than the center section of the wing that would go in that place.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So you just yeah. it's another way of, you know, thinking about it. That was, and I do all the talking tonight.
No, that's all right. Hey, you know, I did when I thinned that epoxy with I used the alcohol.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it worked really well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing I at first I didn't understand, you know, this is that unidirectional carbon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And one thing I didn't understand at first, it took me a minute, you know, that just by the name, it's directional.
Exactly.
No, you know, like this way, strong, strong, strong. Yeah.
Yep.
This way, not so much. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. So the
Yeah.
idea is that you put the fibers in a direction on which the stress goes.
Exactly, you know,
Right.
and I did it like cross grain. I said, okay, let me see, because I've got the
If
nice
you
double
want torsional strength,
up and
then you
down.
go like this, right?
Yeah,
If you want strength in the other direction, like this, you go with a grain like that,
yeah,
both sides.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So depending on which direction you need them, you just go in that direction, and that's it. And
Yeah.
it's put them in. Thin CA works great, and it's very easy to do. If you have a wing that's sheeted, you can put them on top of the spar, between the sheeting and the spar, and when you hit it with thin CA, it's going to glue everything together.
Yeah, I think I saw, maybe you did a demo or a video that I seen you do that with along the spar. I can't remember.
Hello,
I
Dennis.
seen,
Yeah, I think I have it
You
inside.
can
Yeah, I
hear
have it inside the my vector. Yeah, and that was super easy. I mean, just 3M77, just hit it lightly and just stuff it on top of your spar. It's gonna stay there. The fibers are aligned nicely and all that good stuff, you know, and just leave it like that until you put your sheeting on.
yeah, perfect.
And once you put the sheeting on, then you can hit it with thin CA. It goes, it's gonna wick right through the carbon, and it's also going to soak into both the spar and the sheeting. And by sandwiching in between them, that is going to add so much strength with so little weight, almost no weight gain.
Did you find that, Charles?
Yeah,
just
I
nothing.
was. Let these guys finish.
Go ahead, Charles.
So I did find the nut, and
Good.
I actually had a recent order from either Oki Air or maybe it was from Tom Morris. I'm not sure what time I got it, but the newer one I guess is bigger, so he's made a bigger rectangular nut, and I have them both for comparison. And I'm glad he made it bigger because the one that came loose is a smaller one. Let me show you.
I'm gonna try to pin you.
No, you don't want to pin him up. I guess that'll work.
Yep.
There we
There we
go.
go.
So this is the new one. I don't know if I'm too close.
Right there.
That's it.
That's the new one, and here's the old one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
A lot bigger.
So that's not a lock nut.
No, it's
Are they
not.
different materials?
Maybe this one definitely is brass. That's pretty self-evident that this is brass.
Okay.
But this one might be steel.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just smaller. It's just so small you can have a problem with it. I'm gonna put the new one in.
Now, does that still have the little race or whatever carved in it?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. The other thing I was going to say, Charles, is when you put that bolt back in, you want against the head, you want a 440 split washer, the ball link, washer, and then that brass thing.
Right. I follow you. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, you got to have a split washer on there.
Yeah.
I always run a split washer against a regular washer, and that way it, otherwise you got to put a little Loctite on that thing, and I don't like doing that because it's a pain.
You never know where it's going to go.
Right.
No, that's not true. I think if you have some Loctite and you put it carefully right in a hole, you should be fine. And it also allows it to open up and close again.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do next time. I got the split washer, the two washers, and the brass step nut or whatever.
Now,
Okay.
you got a washer on both sides of that
Correct.
wall length though, right?
Correct. Yes. Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All righty. So I am one fortunate person, I tell you.
Yeah.
So that doesn't have a lock nut or anything? Um,
No, it's
Now there's not enough room to get it in the tail to make something that wide.
Understand. Yeah.
but when it's in that slot, it really can't turn.
Oh,
In a sense,
oh,
it's
I understand now. That's the reason that it's square. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
And he, hang on a second.
We're having a hard time hearing you, Dennis.
Yeah, you're coming broken up. Now, Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we take luck over skill anytime, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just definitely favor of the creator. Definitely. So this is what we have, you guys. For those who are unfamiliar with this,
Yeah.
it's a sliding elevator horn. Am I big?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll repin you.
No, he's big on this.
So there's an elevator horn, and this square thing actually fits. There's a step in it that allows it to slide up and down. This is a tight fit, but it moves, see? And that's how you can change where the push
I
rod
got you.
connects. So
It looks like it's designed to decrease the throw on the elevator only.
Yeah, I already told Tom Morris that, and he argued with me that it increases it. And I'm like, only if you start out with the full length of space on the push rod from the
Flaps.
from the flaps.
On the
So,
yeah.
you know, and that's what we did on Samantha's. I just ran everything to the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not engineered right. He argued with me about it, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Whatever.
well, yeah, what I found out and what John found out, you know, as well, is that I am using far less flap throw versus elevator throw.
Yeah.
My elevator moves more than the flaps itself.
Right. So you're not, you know, at 1-to-1, but yeah,
No,
I mean,
wait, no, I'm not 1-to-1.
right. And well, that was on Samantha's, you know, I had to redo it, but yeah, I try to tell them, hey, that geometry is wrong. You can't go from small to large and get more. It's got to go large to small. A larger distance to a smaller distance. That gives you more throw.
Yeah.
Steve, it usually the lower hole is at 1 inch, or they're about 1 inch off the center pivot point.
Right.
Yeah. If you start your elevator at 1 inch, you got 1-to-1 throws. But if you move the not reduce, enlarge, move it out further. So where you say you're 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, you're going to have less throw on your elevator.
Right.
You're
and that's
doing
how
what
that
you
starts.
just said. You're going from small to larger.
Yeah.
No, you go from large to smaller.
No.
You know, by looking at the control horn that Charles showed us, you know, it looks like it's already has about 1 inch to the maximum smallest.
Right. So
to the smallest attachment, which is a 1-to-1. If you make that longer, you're going to decrease the
exactly, because now you're going from small to bigger. It has to be 1 inch
from equal to bigger.
Right. It has to be
no,
1
from
inch
equal to less elevator.
Right. It has to be 1 inch. If you go 1 inch from the flap, then you have to go 1 inch to the horn on the elevator to a 1/2 inch. That one goes 1 inch on the horn to 1.5 inches on the elevator down to 1 inch. You can go 1 to 1. You just can't go give yourself more elevator. You can give it less elevator, but you cannot give it more.
Yes, I agree with that.
So what I had to do was I went up to the 1.5 inches and
On the
ran
flaps.
it on the flap, right? And then went to 1.5 gives me 1 to 1. Now moving it to 1 inch gives me more elevator.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's,
I don't know if you noticed this or not, because you guys that have built Cardinal, but when I drew the plans, I was trying to get the controls equalized, so you got equal throws. And I wound up the best solution was to run the flap bell crank from the bell crank to the flap horn to the lower hole, and run the push rod back to the elevator from the upper hole. And interestingly enough, when I made the diagram, the force diagram, made the throws, actually it wound up equal throws both sides the way it was. But if I tried to do it another way, it got all over the place. So a lot of people figured I made an error on that. And I might have, but it worked for me. And it worked out correct for those that build it that way. They just didn't want to do it because, you know.
Well, that was the same setup when we first got into back in the control line. My brother bought a P40 Warhawk, the ARF, the first one, and it showed the flap rod coming to the 1 inch and the elevator going to the 1.5 inches, and then going back to the elevator at 1 inch. And it's like we had to change it around. We ended up moving the flap one up to the top, but at least it was outside and redid it, and then it flew fine. But it was a handful with the other way.
Well, you get that much elevator, it gets wicked fast.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to control.
So
in theory, yeah.
Go ahead, Troy.
In theory, unless you have a 1-to-1 throw, you cannot get a symmetric throw from the flaps to the elevator. You always have a little bit of something that's going a little bit off. Maybe on one side you have, so say if it flaps 25 degrees up, 25 degrees down, right? On the elevator, we'll always get some like, if it's not a 1-to-1, you might get like 15 degrees up and 16 on the other side, or a little bit of difference between them if they're not 1-to-1. And you can get 1-to-1 to be perfectly symmetric every single time by simply doing one thing. It's like, it doesn't matter if they're straight, if they're at an angle like that, as long as both have same angle, they are parallel, right? Yeah. Like that. And you connect the push rod between them. If they're 1-to-1, then as the push rod goes back and forth, they're going to be synchronized all the time. Right?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Laying it out, it's like the steering on an automobile.
It's a parallelogram. How can that be? It's a parallelogram. You have 1 inch, 1 inch, right?
Here's what I found out.
And they have the same angle. Is you move the parallelogram, they are in tandem all the time.
You're not going to have, you're not necessarily going to have the same angles. You know, the way
if you move the flaps up 10 degrees, the elevator is going to go. Oh no! Yeah, you also have to have it perpendicular to the push rod.
Right.
Yeah. The push rod is perpendicular to them, right? So that if they're like this, you know, in between them, right? But the push rod is always perpendicular,
right,
to both of them. Now they are synchronized. Now, that's the only way to synchronize them perfectly.
Well, I lay everything out graphically when I design a control system for my airplane. And I hit the tangent point coming from the push rod from the bell crank. I'll hit the tangent point. That's why I have to lean forward. But you'll notice that hole, that 1-inch hole, is set up so it's perpendicular, 90 degrees from the pivot point to that elevator hole, for the push rod. And that way, since most model aircraft have this tail, the stab and elevator sitting up higher, that's one of the reasons why they do it, is you want to get that close to 90 degrees back between those
between
two.
the push rod, and that too.
And you'll get so close to, there's always little room for error because not everybody built exactly accurate in that. But
there's no such thing as perfect.
If you get within 1 to 2 degrees, I've laid out systems using straight horns on aircraft, and I've had as much as 6 degrees difference between up and down on the same amount of flap throw. And that's just, you can't have that. You'll get flaps way off, and that gets magnified going back to the elevator.
I think a cool way to do it, I think you can always go, traditionally, what do? We connect the flaps to the bell crank to the flaps, and then we put something between the flaps and the elevator. But there's nothing wrong with going from the bell crank to the flaps and from the bell crank to the elevator.
You can go, and some guys did this back in the day. You can go all the way back to the elevator in one push rod. And then you come back to the flap from the elevator. And that really gets you pretty good, close to even controls. When I did Sheik's Stagger Wing Beach, I actually did that. I went all the way back to the elevator. And then I took a point, I think it was about maybe 3 or 4 inches towards the flap on the push rod. It was a carbon fiber push rod, so I drilled a hole through it, and I mounted a pivot, what they call ball link there, and then I ran that forward to catch the flaps, and the flaps came out perfect. Flaps and elevator had the throws I wanted. I don't like 1-to-1s. I think 1-to-1s is overkill. You tend to fight it unless you've got a heavy airplane. If you got a heavy airplane, you need it. A light airplane, you're discovering you don't need that much flap.
I would argue not even on a heavy plane. So you don't even need it on a heavy plane. And I'm saying this because heavy planes are heavy. They pull on the lines to begin with. Right. So there's no sense of all right, let me back that off a little bit. What I found out is as you move the CG forward with the same weight of the plane, you get more line tension. And if you reach this is after you retrim the lead outs and fine tuning because of the new CG position, right? So it's an optimized for a rear CG and optimized for a forward CG. But what I found as the CG migrated forward, I get much better line tension, right? But in a heavy plane, you don't need that because it's already heavy. It pulls on the lines. It probably just pulls you out of the circle, right? So you can afford now to move the CG back and actually really push it back, and you're going to find out that you're going to use less and less control to make the plane turn, and the plane will maintain much more energy because the flaps are not giving you that huge break, right? And it's not going to hunt because it's a heavy plane. Heavy planes are like a choo-choo train, right? You can't easily make it hunt. You're just going to plow right through it. So
I don't disagree with much of what you just said. I think you pretty well got it nailed. What I was trying to say is, and maybe I said it wrong, the only case that can be made for 1-to-1, in my opinion, is with a heavy airplane.
Okay. Yeah.
That
I
might
get-
explain it a little better. It doesn't have to be, you
Mhm.
know, and
Yeah.
too much flaps is too much drag in many cases.
Exactly. And I do believe that we use too much flaps to begin with. But that being said, if you look at videos from on board the plane, you don't see much of movements even in the corners and stuff like that. They don't move much.
No.
To
The
begin
thing
with,
is,
I mean,
the thing is we keep going to larger and larger IC engines to get the drive to go through the rough stuff, and we wind up with thicker and thicker wings to put more drag in there to control the airplane, especially the downlines. And whereas going to electric, we don't need the big thick wings anymore. We can go down, like I've seen, 22%, I think was one of Wendy's airplanes. Yeah, that was the Striga. 22% core thickness on the wing. That
Hey,
plane
look
would
at
fly
Charles.
much better at say 16, 14, 16.
Look at that, Charles.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Working.
It'll fly much better that way, Charles. I have a feeling.
If you leave
You'll
the
have
hole
to
there,
test it and see.
Yeah.
if you leave the hole there, the heat could go all the way through and out there, and it'll whistle for you as it goes around the
Yeah, it
circle.
probably would whistle.
You know what? It probably wouldn't, but that's kind of what Bob Hunt does with his airplane. Is exact.
Yep.
For electric is have holes in the rear of the airplane for it to.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. He actually puts a little, I forget the name of it, but it's like a little wedge there.
A little fairing type deal before it. You can make something up, Charles, and
Yeah.
And so as the air goes over that, it creates a low pressure right behind it, and that helps suck the air out of the fuselage.
Yeah.
Wow.
but
So-
even being tapered, Charles, that'll help
Yep.
because you got a hole that's lower on one end than the other, and that'll make a suction like that too.
I was John. I'm still piggybacking back a little bit on the conversation, and that I went to Chicago to see some buddies of mine over there that were flying over there, and one of them had a relatively new plane that was, you can call it a little bit underpowered because it had a big wing area and also was pretty heavy, right? Even though it was sporting a 60 Rojet, a 60 on the muffler from Randy Smith, right?
Right.
And he asked me if I want to fly it, and so I flew it, and I almost crashed it because it wouldn't turn, right? And I was very conservative, I just have to wail on it to make it
Right.
turn. So we started to add tailweight to the plane, making the plane even heavier. But by doing that, there was somebody else that was flying a Savoy from Brickhouse design, and
Right.
that plane was turning pretty good, right? We got
Right.
this heavy plane to turn tighter than the other one, and he
Really?
got to the point that he had to bring his handle spacing in, right?
Uh-huh.
But the plane was so was using so little deflection on the controls at that point that it was maintaining maintaining the energy after the turn. Yeah,
That's
without
what you
dragging
don't want
too
to do.
much.
You don't want to scrub off all your energy by too much controls to make the turn. It's just drag.
No, the control was just to suit your flying style, right?
Right.
Because you are used to certain up and down to make the plane turn, right? So
Right.
you bring your handle until you get to where you are happy with it, right?
See, but by moving the CG back, you got it set up to where you're actually losing less throw.
Yes, that's true.
Less throw, and that gets rid of some of the robbing, energy robbing.
Yes,
drag that's from putting the controls on. And so the plane
and
not
that was
flying.
key to it. Yes, that was an absolute key to it. And that plane flew very nice. It was out turning a Savoy, which was much lighter than this thing. And I was like, yeah. And many people say, well, I don't want to push the CG back because it's going to start to hunt. Well, it's a heavy plane. It's not going to hunt. I mean, you really have to make it, you really have to get a CG way back there, to make that thing hunt.
I keep saying that nobody believes me, but a little, 1.5 to 2 degrees of down thrust will just about eliminate the hunt.
But you're talking about a proper CG plane, right?
Right.
Like what we usually use, yeah.
Well, I don't recall my Pathfinder LE having any difficulties in the turn area, so I'm pretty sure that the CG was back a bit from where most people normally fly it.
Yeah.
But everything's, as you know, everything is a compromise.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But, from my own experience, I found the compromise is heavy plane aft CG, light plane forward CG.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And whatever is in the middle, it's in the middle. And you can even argue with start to reduce flaps throw while you're still maintaining the corner. Once you find a good CG, you can play with the flaps deflection. You just take some out of it, and you can probably find that you still maintain the turn, and if you don't maintain the turn, you can add a little bit of elevator, but you might find that you have much better energy retention, with those conditions without sacrificing corner.
Yeah, and that's important to maintain that energy through the flight. If you scrub it, for instance, in the square maneuvers, if you're scrubbing it off on each one of those corners, by the time you get to that last corner, that coffin corner, you might have your airplane try to do some whiffle-doos.
A little bit of RC motion right over there. Yeah. My first experience with lead out adjustments was on an SV12 actually. It's basically an SV11, right?
Right.
And I'm out there, flying the plane, and I said, man, this is kind of soft on the top. I'm gonna move my lead outs back, right? And it got worse. It's like, well, maybe I didn't move them enough. So I moved them back a little bit more, and it got even worse. So I saw 3 gradual instances in when it got worse. I was like, wait a second. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm going in the wrong direction for sure.
Yeah.
So I went back to the original position, and it was back to normal. And I said, I'm kind of scared of this move here, but I'm gonna make it anyway. So I moved them forward like 1/8 of an inch, and it got better. I was like, oh, and I moved them a little bit more forward. They got better. I moved them a little bit more forward. They got better. Obviously, it's just like a curve, right? Where you are optimum, right? So it gets closer to the optimum, and then you're gonna fall off of it, right?
When it falls off, then you move it back.
But I didn't bother to go to the side where it falls off, because I start to do. It's like I'm doing some horizontal 8s. Okay, cool. Let me do a square. Boom, square 8. That's fine. Let's go do a triangle. I mean, this is all in one spot. And out of the triangle, I just jump. Let's go for it. Hourglass, bam! And the plane stayed everywhere.
Wow!
No issues whatsoever. And I was like, I'll live with that. I didn't even bother to experiment to see how much more forward do you want to push it or something like that. But I think if you start aft and you start to do maneuvers and start to get tighter and it's more control, and you start to do endless maneuvers in one side of the circle, I think you're pretty much set.
Yeah. It's, again, like we said, it's all compromises, and you have to find what you can live with, what you like, and it might be different than what Steve likes or I like, or,
Of course, yeah.
I like everything and everybody.
But
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
John, what I can say about that idea, you can get somebody's plane that's very well trimmed. All you have to do is just change the handle a little bit to suit your flying style, because you might want to have more movement on the hand to get the.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that's a plane that turns relatively well, right?
Right.
And to your liking, but you might find out that the handle is too slow for your
Exactly,
taste, or it's
for
too
sure.
fast for your taste. At that
Right.
point, it's just a handle adjustment and a neutral adjustment, and you get the plane to, a trim plane, a well-behaved plane to fly the way you want it at that point,
Right.
just by a handle adjustment.
This is why this sport, I'm gonna call it a sport, is so interesting, because it's like golf, but I can't go buy a set of clubs that are tuned, unless I spend lots of money, that are tuned like I'm capable of tuning a stunt ship.
Mm-hmm.
I say I'm capable. I try to be capable. I'm still learning.
We all are.
Yeah.
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 We're always learning in this. The longer I fly, the longer I realize that we all are still learning to get better at this always.
Oh yeah, and you take, again, using the game of golf as an example. You never see a perfect golf game.
Yeah.
18 holes in one right after another. You'll never see
Len,
that.
yeah,
Yes.
and by the way, Len,
Yeah.
what I said, you said you have some heavy planes or something like that.
Yep.
That perfectly applies to you.
Oh, for sure.
Push the CG back. Keep pushing.
Hey,
it.
Mike, quit your yawning.
If it's not hunting, you're not pushing it far enough.
Okay, that's true. You're right. I need to push it back further yet. Good idea. I'm going to try that when I
Take
fly
weight
that
off
plane
of the
again.
nose,
Yeah.
whatever weight you
Whatever
can
you
take off
gotta
of the
do.
nose.
Yeah, whatever you can take off the nose is always a good idea. Instead of
Carbon
adding,
tank.
instead of adding to the tail, take everything you can out of the nose.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah, I
And then
agree.
you can add to the tail.
Yeah.
So-
Then if you have to add a little more to the tail after you've absolutely exhausted every possibility at the nose, then add a little bit of weight to the tail until you get it where you want it. That's true. Yeah.
No, actually push it further than you think you are. If you start to closing the spacing to your handle because it's too touchy,
Yeah.
you're probably in the right spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
All right.
think about like light planes, they're very even though they may track very nicely, when you have thermals on the field and the air goes up and down and stuff like that, a little bumpy, they are very easily influenced by that, right?
They're
For sure.
upset
And
easily.
it may look like it's hunting or it gives you issues, right?
Great.
But the heavy plane,
Yeah,
it doesn't care.
It's like
It
a
really doesn't care
battleship going
much.
through
Yeah.
bad waves.
And they can afford a much further back of a CG, and you don't
Okay.
care about it if you lose line tension because you want that. You're actually embracing that. You don't want a plane to pull the crap out of you, right?
No, this is
You
the
want to have a
problem.
comfortable line tension, and that's it.
This is the problem I'm having with my 90 ship is that it's still taking my arm off. After 4 or 5 flights, I'm exhausted. Like I feel like I've been in a fight.
That's no way to have fun, is
Yeah.
it?
No, it's not fun anymore. So I've actually stopped flying the airplane for the last couple of years because it just tires me out too much. After
Then
4,
just take some line tension away with the lead outs, man.
yeah, for sure. Just keep moving them forward until it backs off.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
you get to a point where it's kind of even, but as you push past that point, you're actually you're still even, but it's less.
Yeah, and the other thing is that now the airplane is 5 or 6 years old. I'm not worried about it anymore. I'm beyond that. So it's like, it's not an airplane that I'm going to worry if something happens anymore because I have so many other decent airplanes.
Yeah.
So I can really play with it now and really try to push the envelope with it and not be too concerned.
Yeah, try it out. I mean, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised to that.
I agree. I think you're right. And I'm going to push it when I fly it next summer, which I'm planning to do again. I'm going to push the envelope with that airplane and just see where it goes. It may go nowhere. It may never fly well, but I think because the airplane is straight, I may be able to get some pretty good performance out of it yet.
Well,
Yeah, I
play
mean,
with
it's
your
like-
lead outs both directions so you can set up a idea.
Well, I
how-
definitely won't be moving the lead outs back because I'll have no arm left.
in horizontal flight, but as soon as you get on top, it's going to be super loose.
Okay, well, we'll see what we get.
So what I found out is that if lead outs are on the backside, you're
Yeah.
going to have nice line tension down here. As soon as you start to do a loop, get on top of the loop, to top of whatever,
Yeah,
it's going to get loose, right? As the
okay.
lead out starts to move forward, you lose some of line tension on the bottom, but you gain it up here.
I'm thinking I'm thinking I'm gonna like that.
That's
Now,
what you want.
as the lead outs get even further forward, you might get it kind of even everywhere, right?
Okay, that's what you're hoping for.
And that's going to be probably your sweet spot. But now
Okay.
if you go forward from that spot, you're going to remain even, but it's lighter.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
that's good. Yep,
So
that's
so
good.
that's the range. I mean, you might get to the ideal range where it still pulls nicely everywhere, right?
Yep,
And probably very little control, very easy to turn because it's an FCG, right?
yep.
But now if you want to relax yourself from pulling so hard, that's you're going to push it a little bit more past that point
Yeah.
to
Well,
take some more of it.
see, I originally thought when I flew my first 90
He's
plane,
got
which
his
was that
hand
air. Whoops. I originally felt when I first flew the airplane when it was new that it was pulling so hard because it was a 90, a big airplane, big motor. But now I've realized after flying Windy's Novanta, it doesn't pull any harder than a 60 chip. It pulls exactly the same. So I know it's not just the motor size that's causing it to pull so hard.
Right. Steve, go ahead.
Hey, Charles, you gotta unmute. I gotta tell you something.
And maybe reposition that camera, Charles.
Yeah, raise it up. Hey, Charles,
Yeah.
you
That's
need to
better.
check, pull off your canopy and make sure that your ball links are straight up and down, front and back. You don't have one,
Okay.
because when you adjust them like that, you can have them pinned over
Right.
and it will cause a binding. And I see that you keep checking for,
Yeah, I'm just trying to
like
work
you
them
can
in.
feel a bind. So make
Yeah.
sure all of your ball links are straight up and down, front and back.
I follow. It's a good idea.
How's it fly,
Charles,
Charles?
you can feel that at the backside. If you grab the push rod and do like this with it, right? Just grab the push rod on the backside and do this with between your fingers. If it moves back and forth, you're fine.
Push rod.
Yeah, see that little
Yeah,
teeny
the
twist there.
ball links are like this, right? And you have a ball inside.
Right.
But
Right.
they want to do this a little bit. So this is
Okay.
the ball, this is the outside. So the outside wants to do this on the ball, right?
Right. Okay.
As long as you have some of this movement,
Right.
then it's not
okay.
binding. But if one end is like this and the other end it's opposite,
I follow.
where
you.
one end is touching, is maxed out in one direction and maxed out in the other direction, then you're not going to feel any of this. But
I
if you
understand.
feel some of that,
Yeah,
that means
you're
they
right.
both move.
I understand what you're saying, Tryon. That's a good point. Very good point.
I don't think he can get his fingers through that little teeny hole.
Yeah, probably not.
The
And
canopy, right?
yeah,
But
You
yeah,
gotta have
Canopy-
teeny fingers,
the
like
canopy,
me.
I can get the canopy off. There's no problem. It's just 4 screws holding it on.
right. And then you can grab it there and make sure that you have,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
they're straight
Yeah.
up and down.
But
Yeah.
Lynn, to answer your question, Lynn, today was very limited. And Mike, I did get the plane to fly.
Right.
So I flew a 1 minute burst, upright level flight to see if the wing was level. And Joe and Carl was there to verify that for me. And then on this flight, another minute flight, I went inverted. So I did a half a loop,
Yeah.
went and flew inverted for a minute. And again, Joe and Carl was looking at it, and it was level, right, Carl? Both ways, the wing was level. Oh, that's right. His mic's not working very well. Anyways, Joe said it was.
No, Charles, it was level both lights.
All right, good. So, and then I
That
went
is
to.
huge, Charles.
Yeah, I know. And then I had some binding I was complaining about, and I was putting on the lead outs, and then the elevator and the push rod became two different moving pieces.
Yeah, I caught that on the. I've been watching on the YouTube. I heard that, and my heart skipped a beat when he told me that.
Yeah.
It broke on the ground. Oh my God! You're so
I
lucky
know.
that it happened on the ground
know.
and not in the air. Holy cow!
It came apart?
Yeah,
Them apart.
we had the push rod separated from the ball link, Len.
Oh,
on the
shit. Oh,
And the
wow.
push rod came separated from the elevator horn.
Wow.
okay.
Yeah, so I had a camera view on it. If you looked at the earlier video, I showed with the camera, showed that it was they weren't connected.
Where you have your video at?
The one he showed a while ago.
Oh, earlier in this show. In this show,
Okay.
I moved the camera
Okay.
to show with the flashlight. Not the best angle.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you could
Oh, I
see
thought
that.
you videotaped it at the field.
Oh no, I did it tonight. I was just showing where.
So what do you figure happened? Did the bolt come out?
Yeah, the bolt came out. Actually, I had to find the bolt. I mean, excuse me, the nut came off. The bolt was still in the ball link, but the
Son of a
square, that
bitch.
rectangle nut that fits in
Yeah.
that slot,
Yeah.
that was nowhere to be found. I had
Son
to
of
Was
a
it a lock nut? Was it a lock nut?
No, it says it's like this.
Yeah.
Little slider nut.
It's that slider nut.
Slider nut for the slider elevator. What do I do? I have an extra
Oh,
one.
those goddamn things. I'll never use one. I hate them. I don't trust them. I never did trust them.
Oh, is it like square and it's just
Yeah.
threaded?
Yeah.
It has a hole threaded in it and it slides up and down that groove.
Did you not put any Loctite on that thing?
Well, I need to be able to loosen it to adjust it.
Well, you can use blue Loctite. Blue is
Yeah.
removable. Don't use the red. The red is permanent, but the blue is removable.
Yeah, that's what I would use all the time.
Yeah, blue Loctite, man.
Yeah,
I use it on my engine bolts, on my bell cranks. I use blue Loctite everywhere where I've got a nut and a bolt, even if it is a nylon lock nut. I still use blue Loctite on them everywhere,
Right.
on the whole everything. Landing gear. I put them on the little tiny Allen bolts that go in wheel collars.
Yeah.
I use blue
Yeah, I did
Loctite
that.
on those.
I did that on this plane. I did that on the scrub screws for the collets. I did that. But yeah, I know I'll take that thing off, Mike, and I'll put some Loctite on it.
Can you put a bolt long enough through it that you can put a lock nut on the other side?
No,
You don't have
Not enough
you know-
room.
Oh.
Not enough room. It's cramped as it is. I barely have clearance now.
Yeah, SV11 tail's very tight. I know.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, at a
Anyway, so
minimum,
I had a little binding, and so I might have got some. I did put Vaseline in the barrel when I put the hinges in, but so I just squirted a little bit of lacquer thinner. I was trying to just break up any epoxy that might have gotten in the barrel, and I was going to oil them next just to get them loose because they're not as loose as my Strega. Anybody who's handled my Strega will attest that. I mean, they're really like butter. I've had people get my handle, at a contest, and they go, "Wow, your controls are really loose." So I'm used to really.
And
loose
how many flights have you got on that airplane? I bet they are.
Yeah, I think it's like 540 flights on the
Yeah.
Strega.
well, at a minimum, I would not put that back together without putting Loctite on it.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you, Mike. I will heed your advice. Because it's accessible. I mean, if I'm going to do it, might as well do it now.
Yeah, and you can still back a bolt off a nut even if it has Loctite on it. It's
Right,
just going to keep
right.
it from vibrating loose.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like about the blue.
And be liberal with it. Don't be shy with it. Squirt it in the threads on the slider nut and get it all over the threads on the bolt.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Mike.
It's not going to tighten anything else up. It's only going to, the way Loctite works, it only sets up metal to metal once it's compressed and it's there and set. Anywhere else that you have it, it just wipes off if it's in the open air.
Right.
It doesn't set until it's closed in, I guess, is
Yeah,
what.
until it's crimped down,
Yeah.
or
That's a
on
good idea,
threads.
Mike. Thank you very
Just
much.
make sure you do not get it in the ball link. That's why I'd have the bolt through and everything through the horn. Put just a drop on the tip and then run it in if you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Because don't ask me how I know about getting blue Loctite in a ball link.
So the ball got locked up in that plastic with the blue Loctite?
It
Really?
didn't lock, but it was so hard to move that I ended up having to.
All right.
That surprises me because Loctite usually won't set on a plastic surface. It only set on a metal surface.
It set on the ball, it made the ball bigger or something. I don't know. But it made that ball turn so hard.
It's
And I ended up having to remove it when it was in the airplane and then replace it through that little hole. I mean, it's tough to
Well,
get.
just put a couple drop. If you've got a pin oiler or a pen oiler, with a tip on it, put a little oil in the ball joint on the ball and on the plastic. That won't hurt anything. And then the
Then
Loctite.
do the Loctite. Yeah, that
The
works.
Loctite can't set
All right.
if
Good
you
idea.
got oil on it.
Good idea, Mike.
Good
It
idea,
won't.
Mike.
Hey, Len, did you see this?
No. Oh, that looks awesome. Good job. That's fantastic.
You see the reflection of the screen in there.
Damn, that's nice. Very nice. Hey, Charles.
Yeah.
Well done.
And
You have-
this is breaking even with what I had before. That was painted outside the mold.
That looks
But,
awesome.
But the finish is just.
No, that looks beautiful. Good job. Wow.
You can't really compare the finishes.
Way to go. Good
Yeah.
work. I don't know where.
All right, now, guys, I'm
It's
gonna go
after
to bed.
12 o'clock, so you can pull me as host
Oh, okay.
now. And
All right. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get
End
to
it.
the after party.
Oh, geez, already?
All right. Good night, guys.
Hey, good
Good
night,
night, Trent.
Trent. Thanks for coming in.
Good night,
Thanks for the show and tell.
Nice conversation, Fred.
Oh, you're
see you
welcome.
Friday.
All right, take care.
Yeah, bye now.
All right, behave, guys.
So, Steve, you want to hand over
Yeah.
reins there? All right. Thank you. You're still host.
Where are you at now? There you are. Steve can't be host. He couldn't run a hot dog stand.
He does a good job here. He did a good job.
Are you sure you want to change this?
Yes. See, they asked you the same question they asked me.
I don't know though if I should do this or not.
All right, I'm the host now. All right, just a second. Let me see what's happening at the control panel in Sparky's channel here. 1 second.
I don't recall hearing anything from the guys on the YouTube.
They didn't say anything, John.
They didn't?
Well,
The
yeah, well,
last-
actually, there was a little bit of comments. John Lytle, he says, Charles, what will your plane have for power? Did you ever use the Stalker 81? John, yeah, this plane here is an electric plane. It's my first electric plane. And I don't remember the Brodak motor, but it's the one that's called out on the Brodak website for the SV11. And I only have two teeny weeny flights, a minute apiece. And then old control line pilot, that's our friend Robert Whitney up in Canada. He said pre-apply the Loctite in the nut first, and any surplus will just push through the nut.
Yeah.
Oh, good
and
point.
not get on the connector. All right.
Good
Well,
point.
that's a great idea. And then McBride 001. I don't know if that's Steve or if that's Ruben or if that's someone else.
I think
But
it's yeah, should be Ruben.
that's McBride. He says weather in Las Vegas this weekend, 75 degrees. All right, that sounds good.
5
what's
to
gonna
10
be
miles per hour.
And then the wind is going to be 5 to 10 miles per hour. So hopefully,
Perfect.
hopefully we can get through both rounds before the wind comes up. But if not, We'll be separated.
10 miles an hour is a stunt wind.
Yeah, that's better than my living room.
And so as far as our attendance, our watchers anyways, we had 18 people at the height of our hangout. That was around 7. That was around the time that I handed off the host to you, Steve.
Oh, okay.
They left after that?
And then it
Yeah,
went
it
down.
all dropped. Yeah, it all dropped off after
Then
that.
it
Yep.
dropped down. I'm just giving you a hard time, Steve.
Well, I'm glad.
But it did drop down at around 7. But anyways, we've had as many as 18, 19 viewers. We have 17 likes. If you haven't hit the like button, please do that. And if you are watching this as a replay, please continue to hit the like button. That helps the analytics of the show and helps the channel grow. And this is, I don't know if anybody else is doing anything like this, what Sparky is doing. Sparky has me doing this hangout on Monday and Friday nights, and then Sparky has sometimes John Jordan's at John's house, and then he has Dan Winship. I mean, incredible technology is being showcased, and they're showing you how to. I mean, they go out of their way to show you how to do it, and so please support this channel. And so during the replay, please hit the like button. Hopefully you got to this point where we've been on the show now for 2 hours and 26 minutes, I believe. So anyways, with that being said, let me go to the end stream button. We're not going anywhere, at least not all of us. Some of us are going to stick around for we have what's called the after party, where we know we're not being watched and it's not being streamed, so we can kind of let loose and hang out and have some fun. So it's the after party for a reason. We enjoy the after party very much, and anybody's welcome. If you happen to be a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can see the link called At the Bench. If you're not a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can go to Stunthangar Forum, but you won't see the link called At the Bench. That's only for members only. So if you want to come into the after party, you must be a member, or if you are a member, come on into the after party. You won't be on the internet, and you can say what you want to say. It's not going to be recorded or repeated or whatever. So anyways, with that being said, good night all. We'll see you back Friday. I'm going to still, I'm either leaving McBride's house for a little while. Those are the CDs, the contest directors, so they're not going to want to stay up too late. They have a long day. So we'll see what we're going to do, but there will be a program Friday night, maybe abbreviated, or maybe I'll just hand it off to Steve. I don't know if how late I can stay at the McBride's house, but I will.
Be now streaming live on YouTube.
I'm still streaming right now. I'm saying good night. All right, good night, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.